What's going on, everyone? Vince and James here with Gaspar's Best and HP Pharmacy. We are live on Facebook and Instagram, and we posted something a couple days ago asking if people would be interested in hearing more about the coronavirus in general, our perspective. James is a pharmacist here at HP Pharmacy in New Jersey, and kind of our perspective and some different opinions. There's a lot of information that's out there right now too, so we wanted to share some different opinions and what we think is kind of some practical ways to approach things too. So thank you for voting and requesting to hear more from us, and I guess let's dive into it. And if you have any questions, feel free to, chime as we go through these videos here.
Yes, so the coronavirus, it's obviously a very hot topic, literally everywhere right now. As of right now, about 88 countries has been affected by it, has almost 98,000 confirmed cases around the world, about 3,300 cases of death throughout the world. So we are going to refer this as COVID-19 virus, COVID-19 rather.
Not my corona?
No, not my corona, because WHO actually came up with the naming of it, COVID-19, co from corona, VI for virus, and D for disease.
Hi, Sheldon.
19 since from 2019. So COVID-19, so here it is. So obviously now it's grabbing a lot more attention here in the United States.
Right.
There has been some death cases, literally. A lot of them are actually from the state of Washington, having a lot of issues there. Currently in the state of New York, we had some confirmed cases. We have a presumptuous case in New Jersey here as well. So it's definitely, it's here. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely. So I guess, I mean, there's a lot of information out there from the CDC, other things like that. Honestly, I've heard conflicting information, like if you feel like you're experiencing symptoms, what to do and what should you do. There are, obviously masks. I mean, you can buy masks on Amazon these days for like $200 a box of masks.
If it's available.
If it's even available. It's insane, right? So what's your perspective on all of that? I mean, at the pharmacy here, technically speaking, when you hear information about masks, for the regular masks, they only prevent you from breathing out and getting other people sick, right? They're not going to prevent you from getting sick necessarily.
So, what's been said about CDC and what's been said from many different doctors that we see on media right now, do not buy a mask if you're healthy.
Right.
And I agree with that. I do agree with that. Because if you are healthy, then putting a mask on, whether it's surgical mask or N95 mask, will not 100% prevent you from getting the coronavirus or COVID virus. However, now this is I think we're not exactly diving into the question about it. And I feel that we are kind of addressing this more individually instead of as a whole, as a community. Some facts are the coronavirus, the COVID-19 can be dormant, or you can be asymptomatic for up to 14 days, up to 2 weeks. So how can you be sure that you are healthy? You might have some dry coughs here and there, right? It might be absolutely nothing, or it can be common cold. That's not COVID. It can be, God forbid, flu, right?
Sure.
Now, so since there is no guarantee that you or I currently have COVID-19, how do we draw the line of being healthy? So, because now let's just say I feel fine right now. I may have a bit of a dry cough here and there, but no fever. I feel fine, not fatigued. But God forbid, 2 weeks from now on, if I show symptoms, right, and end up
I'm infected too then.
Right, exactly. So
from us trying to cram into this Instagram space.
I know, it's too small now. So should I maybe wear a mask to protect the community from possible transmission from one to the other? So that's really the question.
Right.
And
I mean, I think in general, it's probably overkill. Like don't go spend $200+ on like one box of masks on Amazon kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, like that's I think where the line gets drawn, or where there's a gray area where people are spending all kinds of crazy money and that kind of stuff. And technically, wearing some of those the non N95 masks or the masks that don't prevent you from breathing in, technically speaking, yeah, that's not going to prevent you, but you can transmit the virus in a lot of ways too. If I touch my hair all the time, as James makes fun of me for saying, so if you touch your face, you could, in theory, if the mask is helping to prevent you from touching your face, I mean, that's a different way to look at it too, from a functional perspective. Not necessarily will the mask stop you from breathing it in, but at least, hey, you touch the surface, you're in the bathroom, you're over here, you're over there, and if you're going to the airport, all these places where you're interacting with other people, you could pick it up accidentally, and then the next thing you know, oh, you just ate food, and now that's in your mouth, or you're touching your face and doing this. So I don't know. I think in practical sense, you can't always just look at it. Functionally, will it stop you from breathing it in? Probably not, no. But if it's stopping you from touching your face and other things like that, just practicing good hygiene or just being more aware of good hygiene,
I'm going to get a little
that's
technical
not necessarily
here,
a bad thing. Please get technical.
With the idea of, you keep saying breathing in.
Right.
But that's a pretty common thing to say. That's how we would think the virus is transmitted. As of right now, I'm pretty sure that we can all agree the fact that they are being transmitted by droplets. We are talking, coughing, sneezing, and when that happens, it gets on the surface area where we, or a lot of time on our phones, right? We touch our phone all the time.
Sure.
Or while we're talking, probably at this point on this phone and the laptop that we are staring at probably can get infected with some of the virus as well. Now, so I would like to consider the mask as a possible physical barrier to stop at least a bulk of virus from transmitting from one to the other. Because the amount matters. The amount of virus that's coming into our body, I believe, absolutely matters. And yes, if I have this regular surgical mask and if I'm in an enclosed space with 4 different people having COVID-19, yeah, I'll be infected. I mean, it's there's probably no question about it. Even if I have the mask, chances are I'll probably get infected. However, if I am in a supermarket, right, large area, as of right now, the confirmed cases are still about 160, I believe, in the United States. Let me just confirm that a little bit. As of right now, 164 cases of confirmed cases in the United States. So now it's a whole other discussion whether to believe that specific statistics. But let's say that it is not as prevalent here compared to China or Iran or Italy right now as we see. If I do have a mask on, if someone across the room sneezes and they do travel pretty far, there is a possibility, I think, it will act as a physical barrier and reduce the amount of virus that I might be getting. At the same time, as Vince mentioned, if I'm touching my face, on average, a person would touch their face about 15 to 20 times a day, unconsciously, without just knowing. Would just scratch her nose, correcting my glasses and things like that. And now, if we do that, well, if I have a physical barrier on, I I have a mask on, I should be careful and let me wash my hand, or let me get a sanitizer. Thing. Sure, with sanitizer as well. That's probably the biggest, not a controversy per se, but I don't think we're really diving into the question. We're not really asking questions about, well, yes, it should not be worn by healthy individual, yes. But at the same time, since we can be asymptomatic. And what if I'm living with someone who is immunocompromised or who is, elder, my grandma and things like that, because the issue right now is the mortality rate, that's been published by the WHO as of right now is about 3.4%. However, and some of these statistics are still very not 100% accurate, since every country right now has different criteria on how to be measured these things, or just a lack of testing kits around the globe to even address these concerns. If you have, virus, where do you go? Or we have no idea. So, however, last time I checked about the spike, there's a spike of mortality rate when you're above age of 70. it raised up to even 18 to 20%.
I think I even saw some at 60 now in the past couple of days.
It's very, then now compared to that, and yes, there has been comparison with flu virus. According to CDC, if you look at the statistics from last year with the flu, even of age of 65 or higher, the mortality rate isn't crazy high. Even for patients that has been hospitalized for it, and the mortality rate still hovers around 1 to 2%. So considering that, even though from what we know right now, I would think that's pretty high mortality rate. For you and I, per se, if you're a healthy individual, generally speaking, yes, it might just go fly as a little bad cold maybe, right? But if I have the virus and apparently if I say I'm fine, I'm just sneezing a little bit and I take a couple of days off from work and things like that to make sure that I recover. However, but if I don't wear the mask and if I transmit to my family and friends, and some of them are immunocompromised and some of them are elderly, and if they end up in the hospital and cause a pneumonia caused from the COVID-19, that's a big deal.
Right.
So that's what I mean by, as a whole community, we should be a little more, asking questions. Are the masks necessary? There's clearly different opinions and different comments on that. But I think it's up to the whole community. We should think about that and try to protect one another, protect your neighbors.
To reiterate your point, it's literally protecting your neighbor. We may not have too bad of a reaction from it, but if you're spending time around people and you don't even know who you're spending time around half the time, right? Like, especially if you work in a very public place or you take public transportation. We're in New Jersey, we're right next door to New York City here. It's very easy for you to be in contact with people you have no idea, you've never met before, you'll never see again in your life.
Yeah.
And if you are compromised, and even if you don't even realize it because you're okay, it's easy to transmit, and that's what's scary about it, even though, a normal, healthy individual may not experience, the tragically negative results and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So we're not trying to be alarmists about this. We're not trying to freak out. We're just trying to encourage everyone to, think smartly. Practice good hygiene in general is never a bad thing. Wash your hands, not just after the bathroom, repeatedly throughout the day.
Washing hands is extremely important, obviously.
Yeah.
They say sing happy birthday twice, we grow older every day, right? If we sing happy birthday. So
no, thank you.
Up to 20 to 30 seconds. Make sure you under your nail as well. Be more cautious, be more conscious about it when you're washing your hand. You're not just, putting some water, sprinkles in your hand and just wipe it on the paper towel and walk away. You have to actually, put time on it. At the same time, with the hand sanitizers as well. Now, that's if you can get one, right? We get questions about hand sanitizers all the time. Unfortunately, we are out of it as well. When you do see a hand sanitizer, make sure you rub your hand up to a point that it 100% dries. There has been small studies where, does minutes matter? And there has been cases where, make sure you rub your hand for 4 minutes. I think it's a little excessive, and that's a small study. But the point is, make sure you rub your hand with the hand sanitizer up to a point that you definitely dry it out.
Now, to that point, we started getting some other questions related, especially with hand sanitizer being out of stock here and a lot of places, about isopropyl alcohol instead of a hand sanitizer, or in lieu of a hand sanitizer.
There are different. It's difficult to say fact, because as far as I know, CDC will still recommend, as long as you use 70% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. I've seen some hacks with using 90%, 99% rubbing alcohol, mix it with some aloe vera, moisturizing gel and things like that. And it's, as of right now, you do what's necessary, obviously, to protect yourself. There has been some claims of not using 99% rubbing alcohol directly on your hands. It's more for industrial use, and I would honestly try to not do that as well.
Sure.
If possible, I'd rather wash my hand with soap and water. So that's something to be considering. You gotta. I'm just asking everybody to be more conscious about, not just individually, but as a community as a whole. There are other countries out there, obviously, a lot of higher death rates. I think Italy is now over 100. Iran is over 100. And we are not even sure where can we get tested. And that's one thing I actually want to talk about. So what if you do feel sick? What do you do?
I've heard, honestly, on the radio, conflicting pieces of information about what you should do when you're sick or think you are experiencing symptoms and that kind of stuff.
I think, according to CDC, last time I checked, they say stay home and also contact your doctor, which is pretty generic and basic. And this is where I also want, and again, thinking of the whole as a community. Let's just say if I, God forbid, do have COVID-19, and if I go to ER, and I have someone next to me who just has a broken leg, or vice versa. I go to the emergency room because I have, different issue. Broken leg, right? Or broken hand. I broke my hand twice already.
Oh, yeah? Broke my hand one time.
So, and if someone else sitting next to you are concerned with COVID-19 and walks in, well, the chances are, just by probably, touching the similar surface area, you may get there's a great chance of getting infected. And, well, I saw, even this is a couple of months back, when I took my daughter to doctor's office for her annual, a checkup and things like that, they have a sign that if you've been to these countries past, 2 weeks, do not come in, call first. I think that's really, possible. I definitely think you should definitely call your doctor's office first. Inform if you're going to go to the emergency room at the, wear your mask. That's definitely 100%. If you feel like you need to go to the hospital, please do wear a mask. Whether it's COVID or just a flu, regardless of whatever the viral infection is, you should 100% wear your mask then.
Again, same thing. It's protecting other people just to be safe.
As a community as a whole, because it can be your family or it can be your friends, right? So that's something that, you have to be a little technical difficulty here with this one.
We lost the Facebook feed.
Yeah,
so.
but...
I hate to see that.
I mean, we'll keep it's make sure that you call and before you go walk in, say, listen, I've been here, I've been to this country, or I have been in contact with some of the people that may have been into different country. That's where we have to make sure that we tell people about it, and maybe you shouldn't walk into the ER. Maybe ask someone at the front. Now, there are different things that's being done by different countries. There are hotlines to call. I don't know if you've actually had that set up yet. They have a more designated place to do that. I don't know if that's really available yet here at the moment. I am speculating that might happen in the near future.
Right.
The chances are...
Drake has a hotline bling out or something.
The chances are, it's... Now, this is 100% my opinion at this point. The chances are, I think it's already here. Probably a lot more prevalent than we think.
Right.
And the fact that we jumped from, a couple deaths to 11 deaths over a matter of 1 to 2 days, I think kind of shows the fact that it's definitely possible. And I think even in the state, in New York State, from, first confirmed cases to second, and now there's, they're shutting down universities and things like that. It's definitely here. I think, I believe it's here at this point. So whether it's wearing a mask, whether it's washing your hands, whether it's not going outside, if you're immunocompromised, take the extra precaution, not just for yourself, but for your family and for your friends and the community as a whole.
Cool. All right. Well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to chime in and let us know what you think. We lost the feed on Facebook. We're still wrapping up here on Instagram. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Thank you.